one of the things that I find that's just super absolutely amazing is, there's the after action, like what did we do well, what do we not do well.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think of things, and one of my really good mentors was a captain in the Air Force. His name's Bill Wilder. Bill, I hope you're watching this. Give me a thumbs up when you see it. But he also talks about this red teaming,
Yeah.
right? A lot of corporate America, they every company does it. They do these big programs, these big projects. They have the project manager. They have all of these things. They go through regression testing, but everyone plans.
Yep.
Everyone has these great intentions.
They have a plan to plan. Yeah, exactly.
They have the plan for the
planning.
planning of the plan of the plan of the plan.
Correct.
But not everyone understands what red teaming actually means.
Yep.
And to be quite honest, red teaming was a relatively new concept of something I recently learned about, the actual naming of red teaming.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to hear your perspective on what does red teaming actually mean?
Yeah. So if I'm going to conduct a strike into Lebanon against Hezbollah targets, and I have 6 of us going to go do this bombing mission, we're going to sit here and we're going to plan for hours. Intel, satellite pictures, you name it, weapons, all sorts of stuff. And after the end of our planning, we're probably all going to look at each other and go, what? Man, we busted our ass. This plan is perfect, flawless. We're brilliant. Let's go flying. And if we did that, all 6 of us most likely would end up dead. Why? Because we didn't stop the red team. What does that mean? I'm going to say, all right, fellas, ladies, nobody move. I'm going to go grab 3 to 4 squadron mates who weren't in our planning session, but they have situational awareness as to what is going on. And I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to sit them down right there, and I'm going to go, red team, here's my mission objective. Here's how I'm going to get it done. And they sit there, and they don't say a word. They just listen in silence, and they write stuff down. When I get to the end and go, red team, what do you got? You can hear the shotgun kind of go, and they just start firing away. The only thing that comes out of my mouth is, thanks for your input. Why? Because it's human nature. Dude, I just spent 4 hours planning this thing. Of course we thought of that, even though I might not have. It's to get defensive. I don't say a word. I say, roger that, thanks. And I scribble every word that comes out of their mouth. No defending. None of it. And trust me, the first couple times you do this, it's, at Top Gun, we call it a murder board. It feels like you're just getting destroyed. But guess what? If you don't red team your plan, who's going to do it for you? The enemy. And will gladly red team it for you, right? So I call it the popcorn rule. Once they get down to like 1 or 2, there's like 3 or 4 seconds between them kind of looking at stuff, and now they're like, all right, and you need a haircut and shine your boots. Now I'm like, all right, you're done, get out. So once they're kind of out of ammo, we leave, and as soon as the door shuts, then we can badmouth the red team. But no, so once they're gone, I just sit here and I go, look at that shit, and I go top to bottom. Even the things that are in my plan, like if they're like, hey, you need to get some fuel here, and it was in the plan, I say that. They brought up the fuel thing, I didn't brief it, scratch that one off. If they land a punch, I circle it and go, whoa, we need to adjust or whatever. So you go through every red team concern. There isn't one red team that I've done in the United States military or the business world that didn't make, anecdotally, a plan 20 to 30% better. Now, when I teach red teaming to corporations, I look at them, I'm like, would you like that 20 to 30% to your bottom line, or to make your shit 20 to 30% better? They're like, oh my God. And it's really cool because I love teaching red teaming to corporations, because there's a couple people in every company that loves nothing more than to point the flaws out of stuff. So we kind of, instead of bad-mouthing those people, I usually bring like a little red like baseball cap with my logo on it. And I'm like, you guys, yeah, exactly. Like, you guys are the permanent walking around red team, and they actually enjoy it. And here's what's even cooler, especially for corporate world, is the red team feels that they have some involvement in your plan, right? Especially in the business world, they'll come up weeks later and be like, hey, how's that plan going? I made it better, didn't I? So you actually help create buy-in throughout the company or squadron or whatever. I land after a mission. My buddies who red teamed it, they're like, dude, how'd it go? There's been times where I'm like, thank God you brought that up, man, or I would have been toast. It's like, aha. So red teaming, folks, it's another one of those, man, where I got to Chicago, where I do some planning and people are like, all right, let's leave and execute. I'm like, where are you guys going? Sit down. We're going to rip this thing to shreds. And they're like, oh my God, that's brilliant. I'm like, the fact that you guys are making money in spite of yourselves is fascinating to me. So, I didn't do this, but the things I brought to Chicago did. We went, when I showed up, we had like 99 employees and 150 million bucks. I left, we were over 600 and like $2.5 billion. And it was by
Get out.
It was by tightening up this stuff.